Hi everyone, welcome back to Women on the Rise. Today we're joined by Evelyn Tang, a sophomore at Tommy Douglas Secondary School who is passionate about sports media and law. She's gaining a lot of hands-on experience in market research, media, event planning, and today we'll dive into her journey and future ambitions. Evelyn, welcome to the podcast. Please introduce yourself and share a little bit about your journey in media.
Thank you, Rachel. I'm so excited to be here. As you mentioned, I'm a sophomore and I've been deeply involved in media marketing and event planning. My journey started with social media and content creation, which quickly evolved into video editing, brand strategy, and market research. Through experiences, I've had the chance to work with a diverse group of people and hop into many opportunities. Growing up, if there's anything that I've learned, it's that the most powerful people don't work in isolation. They build teams, leverage skills, and think. I always had this idea about success, and today it's about adapting innovation and ownership. That's why I never waited. I stepped into my field knowing nothing, but built connections and got to work with amazing people today. Hopefully, of course, you're doing well, and I'm ready to hear your questions and thoughts.
All right, so without further ado, let's get right into the questions. So, first, can you take us back to the beginning? So, what first sparked your interest in media and marketing?
A lot of it started with my parents, to be honest with you. It gave me the mindset, the foundation, and the tools I needed really early on, but having tools doesn't mean you know how to use them. Since I was 7, I knew I wanted to be successful, I just didn't know how yet. But one thing that was clear is that the world was changing. Success wasn't just about following the old formula anymore. It was about thinking ahead, adapting, and building something for your own. My biggest inspiration is probably my mom. She's someone who built something from the ground up and showing me what independence looks like. But I don't want to just follow into her footsteps. I want to take it even further. And that's the message I want to carry on, especially and tell every woman that's listening to this and understand. It's not just an era of waiting for opportunities. This is an era of creating them. I started applying this mindset seriously in 9th grade. And that's when my passion for media really took off.
Nice. All right. So, what drew you specifically to sports photography? In your application, you talked a fair bit about it. So, when did you realize you hopefully wanted to pursue it professionally?
Funny enough, my love for basketball and media developed at the same time, and that's what really got me into sports photography. I grew up idolizing Kobe Bryant, not just for his skills, but for his mindset. He didn't just play basketball, he approached the game like a strategist, an entrepreneur, and competitor. I think when I was in 8th grade, I thought I would play in the WNBA. As ridiculous as it sounds, that's what I really wanted to do. But that dream got cut short. I remember sitting in a French class with my friends at the time, and we were going around talking about what we really wanted to do in life. And when it was my turn, I said I wanted to play basketball. They laughed. In context, you have to understand that everyone in my school at the time had parents who worked in very big job firms, and parents are a heavy influence on what a child could be. And it's up to the child to follow them or not, right? So that moment didn't break me, but an experience did later. After a health issue, I wasn't as athletic as before, and my coach, someone who I once looked up to, turned that game into something I truly hated. He didn't just make me quit basketball, he made me lose my entire passion for it. I find it funny how in my lifetime I've came across so many teachers who put students down, and I never understood why either. At that point, you're better off anywhere else but in front of me. But back to basketball. Here's the thing. I wasn't about to let my teachers sway my entire thinking. Though I lost the passion to play, I didn't lose hope in sports in general. So I found another way around it, and that's how I got into sports photography. Staying close to the game, capturing those moments, the stories, the strategy. I started my own business and now looking for a team of people to help me make the next best thing. Because when you surround yourself with strong-minded individuals, the team creates success. Not just you, but the team including you. And through all that, Kobe's mindset stuck with me. If there's a setback, find another way forward.
All right. Okay. And you briefly mentioned on your LinkedIn that you were slightly interested in law. So, how do you bridge that gap between your media and your law?
Law is something that it was just like kind of like a hobby, I guess, for me. Like it's something that I've been interested in, but I wasn't really active in it until I actually came across this organization. So both media and law require strong communication, strategic thinking, and a keen understanding of public perception. Now, I think that one of my biggest pet peeves is absolutely when there's no communication in any organization. I'm a big fan for communication, something that I'm still working on, but if there's no communication, I can't go forward. But that's something that that really bridges the gap to me. And I've had the opportunity to work with various nonprofits and focusing on media, but one in particular, which is the Young Politicians of Canada, is rooted in law and government. And this initiative is centered around promoting civic engagement, specifically targeting high school students. And through this experience, I've witnessed firsthand importance of translating complex legal and political concepts into formats that are accessible and engaging for younger audiences. And the key is bridging that gap by leveraging the power of media to make these ideas understandable and relevant. By doing so, we're not only inform but empower individuals, particularly in areas like law and government, ultimately fostering a more engaged and informed society. And that's how like in general, like that's the impact I strive to create.
Nice. All right. Okay, so next we're gonna go into your photography. What are some of the biggest challenges you faced as a student trying to break into the highly competitive world of photography?
That's a question I typically get a lot. And the biggest challenge in any industry in general, but more so in photography, is access. It's not about just talent, it's about being in the right places, knowing the right people, and proving you can deliver the opportunities when the opportunities arise. In a world where connections can often be just as valuable as skills, navigating through the door to success can feel like a game of chance. Traditional advice encourages you to wait for opportunities to knock, but in reality, that's a mistake. The key is to proactively create those opportunities for yourself. Reach out to people, network with experienced photographers, shoot those local events, build relationships, and they will gradually position you into the spaces where magic happens. The second challenge is resources. Professional grade gear can often cost a fortune, like it costs like so much. And while that may seem like a significant barrier, it's not that big of an obstacle, to be honest. The best field doesn't start out with 100,000 worth of equipment. They begin with what they had, hone their craft, and reinvest into their growth as they gain experience and success. Excuses don't build careers, execution does. It's not about waiting for everything to fall into place. It's about taking what you have, making the most of it, and building a foundation that allows you to grow, learn, and evolve as you go along.
Yeah. Oh, wow. That was inspiring. Okay. Um, have you ever shot like a live game? If not, what sport intrigues you the most? And if so, how was that experience?
Yes, absolutely. I've shot more so like a lot of local games within my area, but it's something that I'm still bridging towards. And here's the thing, in live sports photography, it isn't just about capturing that action as it happens. It's about being able to anticipate the next big moment before it unfolds. The difference between a good shot and a legendary one lies in your ability to read the game and predict what's coming next. It's about understanding rhythm of the game, the players' movements, and the flow of the energy on the court. Every game is a story waiting to be told, and your job as a photographer is to capture those pivotal moments. The energy, the intensity, and those split-second decisions that athletes have to make to push even faster, think faster, react smarter, adapt constantly, those are things that you have to constantly do as a photographer. It's a dynamic environment where anything can happen in the blink of an eye, and you have to be ready for it. That's the thrill of it, chasing the perfect shot amidst the chaos, and that's what I love so much about it. There's something so exciting about working in a fast-paced, high-pressure environment where every click of the camera could be capturing a moment that tells an entire story. If I had a chance to do another sport, it'd definitely be soccer, but if you couldn't tell already, my favorite sport to shoot is basketball, and it's my true passion. It's something that not only is close to my heart, but the one that offers endless opportunities for incredible shots. That fast breaks, the high flying dunks, the buzzer beaters, all of that is what makes it my favorite.
Nice. Okay, so who are some of your biggest inspirations in the field of sports photography, like basketball or soccer, any sport? And are there any particular like moments or photographers that really stand out to you?
That's a great question. So there are many iconic photographers like Sam Mahler and Walter, but one who really stands out to me, especially since I'm based in Ontario, is Mark Blinch. His work gained a lot of attention after the Toronto Raptors' big win, and my favorite shot of his is the iconic Kawhi Leonard moment that went viral within the sports community, and it's one of those photos that many people don't recognize right away, but once they see it, they immediately know that significance. And it's also one of my dream composite shots, and I hope to capture something similar with a team of photographers someday.
Nice. Okay, so when you're building your portfolio, which I assume you're starting to do since you're a sophomore, are you going about it? Are there specific things that you're including, specific things that you're not including, and what kind of advice would you give to somebody trying to start their portfolio?
The advice is just to start where you are. Do not wait. Don't like procrastinate. Just start where you are. Whether it's high school games, local tournaments, or pickup games, every event present is an opportunity to create like your craft. Don't just passively capture those moments, actively create them. The best shots aren't merely just about freezing the action, they convey a deeper story than that. Seek out those emotions, the struggles that make it more meaningful. It's more than just being in the right place at the right time. It's about mastering those specific angles and finding those unique perspectives that set your work apart. Anyone can take a picture, but what makes your shot undeniable and what element of your style makes it stand out from the rest? Personally, for me, I've done a lot of personal projects, especially within this year, where I've taken a lot of inspiration and I started creating something a little bit more different, more personal to what I love. And that's what I think you have to do as a photographer. You have to make it deep within yourself. It has to come from you. And networking is especially crucial because connecting with players, coaches, and media teams in any field across often comes down to the relationships you build. Don't underestimate the power of social media. Your Instagram or whatever you're using isn't just a place to showcase your work. It's a valuable business asset. Treat it like one. And one of the biggest mistakes that people make, again, is to wait for permission to succeed. They sit back and wait for that invitation. But in this game, in life, independence isn't just about doing everything by yourself. It's about knowing how to build a strong team, leverage those resources, and proactively create your own opportunities. Fear holds most people back, but fear is only temporary. Regret lasts forever. The key is to take risks, push back past those fears, and make the most out of every opportunity that comes your way. It's not just about waiting for that perfect moment, it's about making that moment perfect through action.
All right. Next, we're going to talk about your career growth in the future. So you talk a lot about creating opportunities instead of like waiting for people. So what's an example of a time that you did this and what was the outcome? What happened when you did this?
The moment you rely on someone, honestly, you give away that power. I probably said that like already like 4 times, but
Yeah.
I absolutely despise when I have to wait for someone to hand me a task. I like to build vision and make it happen. This applies to every aspect in life, whether through sports, media, or business. The people winning right now are the ones who are taking action before the opportunity is obvious. You want to be a photographer, so shoot, build that portfolio. You want to lead, act like a leader before you have that title. No one is going to let you be successful. Many people, like those kids in school whose parents work in corporate jobs, follow that very traditional path where you go to school, get a degree, land that stable job, and work 40 years. And for a long time, that approach worked. But why? Because we were in the industrial era where people were trained to be effective employees, and for the most part, they were compensated well for it. Now, let me be clear. School isn't a bad thing, and neither is working a job. But the problem is when people rely on only school, thinking that a degree alone will guarantee success for them. It does not. I've met and encountered too many people who ended up doing nothing with their degrees because they thought it would get them somewhere with no experience often. And if you want real control over your life, you need to think beyond that path and start creating your own and stop being influenced by people who have not stepped foot into your dream. If they haven't done it, worked there, or been there, why are you listening to them in the first place? Follow what you want to do and do what you want. That's success, not living under someone else's idea of your life.
All right. What strategies have helped you stay consistent and motivated in this field, especially when you're facing like setbacks or self-doubt?
People think like consistency is about motivation, but it's not. It's about systems. Detach yourself from emotions and operate like a strategist. As much as that cold-heartedly sounds, that's the truth with generally business. Feelings are unreliable. Have a plan, execute regardless. Move through the fear. Fear isn't a sign to stop. It's a sign that you're doing something that matters. And build leverage. The right network, right skills, positioning make success a probability, not a possibility. Traditional eyes say, stick to the safe path. But in today's world, safety is an illusion. The only real security is control over your skills, your opportunities, and your career. We say safe, but let's be honest, is there anything safe in life? The answer should be no, because the truth is that everything requires an equal amount of risk. And honestly, when it comes to emotions, I think that nothing wrong with having emotions, of course. Express how you feel. That's the entire point of photography, especially. But there's a certain limit when it comes to that, especially at a professional standpoint, and I think that's where it becomes very black and white for some people.
All right. So how do you see the intersection of sports, media, and like businesses evolving in the next few years? You talk a lot about the industrial age and how like this system just isn't working anymore and you need to like kind of break out of that and do your own thing. So in the future from now, do you see that it's staying the same as it is now, or do you see it ever evolving?
It's always going to change. Everything is changing. And I say change a lot because that is what we have to realize. Rules have been fundamentally changed, and the intersections of sports, business, and media is only going to continue evolving in the coming years. Athletes aren't just players anymore, they're full brands and businesses in their own right. Ownership has become the ultimate power move, and players are not investing into their ventures, launching their own brands, and controlling their own narrative. This shift has blurred the lines between sports and business, and is something that's only going to intensify as athletes take more control over their careers and financial decisions. That said, there's still a lot of resistance to the change of the world in sports. Many people argue that these shifts, like athletes becoming entrepreneurs, taking control of their brand, somehow diminishes their integrity of the game or takes away their pure love of the sport. They feel uncomfortable with the business side of things, interconnecting with sports, and if they may see it as bad or misguided. But here's the truth: change is uncomfortable generally, and it's often met with resistance, especially when it challenges old systems and familiar ways of thinking. While some may not approve of these changes, I believe embracing change, especially when it doesn't cause harm. It's crucial for growth, and in this case, the rise of an athlete-driven brand in businesses isn't inherently negative. It's part of natural evolution, and that's what helps athletes diversify their income, create those long-term opportunities, and control their own careers. It builds. I don't understand, personally, why people are always so negative about change. There's nothing wrong with change, especially if it's going to do better for athletes or wherever it may be, because though we may be used to the idea that maybe it used to be a certain way, sometimes things just have to change the way they are. And even if it's negative, we do learn from it. So that's what matters to me, is that you're still learning, you're still growing, and that you're still moving forward.
Yeah. All right. If you could give one piece of advice for someone who wants to break into sports photography or media in general and doesn't know where to start, what would it be?
If you're looking to break into sports photography or media but have no idea where to start, number one piece of advice is to leverage through social media. In 2025, Instagram or any social platform you use holds the most power that any resume that you could ever make. If you're not actively posting, you're essentially invisible. But it's not just about showing your work, it's about thinking beyond the camera. The top photographers today are not only excellent shooters, they transform themselves into brand builders, marketers, and content strategists. They know how to create visual identity and curate content, and that leverages their platforms to reach the right people. And it's also essential to network like an entrepreneur. Don't just wait to find whoever you may be finding. Take the initiative yourself. Slide into DMs, reach out to people, coaches, teams, and whatever you're looking for, they can offer value. Whether it's through capturing that event, offering your services, or even just helping out behind the scenes, opportunities don't just open up. They're created through effort, persistence, and relationships. The traditional route may say follow the system and wait for your turn and play by the rules, but the new game is about building your own system and creating your own path and showing that you're capable of bringing something unique to the table. I used to always wait for everything. I used to always wait for instructions, wait for the next thing to do, right? And sit down and do nothing. That's what basically I would do in school. But now that I've grown older and I've just come to realize everything, I don't wait anymore. I just ask questions, ask for everything. Communicate is the biggest key, because if you don't communicate, no one is ever going to know who you are.
All right, now we will be asking the final two questions. So, what's next for you? Do you have any big projects coming up since you're a sophomore? Obviously university applications are coming up, and are you running any big projects, or do you have any goals for that?
So right now, I'm in the process of launching my own Instagram page and putting the finishing touches on my portfolio. So both are coming soon very much, and neither is fully complete yet, but I am making the progress every day. My goal is to get myself out there as much as possible. It's something that I'm still following my own advice till this day. It's something that I'm still working towards. And Even if the opportunities aren't directly related to sports and still fall within media world, I'm open to them. I'm trying to get out there because the more experiences I gather, the better. It's all about whatever comes my way. My ultimate goal is to start working with real leagues, to collaborate with professionals in the industry and broaden my network. I'm eager to meet new people, learn from them, and work alongside them. I'm always up for new challenges too, and I would never turn down the opportunity unless it costs me an arm and a leg, because growth comes from saying yes as much as possible.
All right, this is our final question. So you mentioned that you're launching your own Instagram page and your portfolio is finishing up. So for all the people interested, where can they find your work and how can they connect with you?
So you can find me on Instagram at evelyn.visuals, and feel free to connect with me through DMs or check out my portfolio, which will be dropping on April 13th, 2025. And I'm also on LinkedIn, so just search for my name, Evelyn Tang, and you'll find me there. It doesn't get any easier than that. I'm always open to connecting and collaborating, so don't hesitate to reach out. And to wrap things up, Rachel, thank you so much for having me here today. It's been great sharing my journey and goals with you.
Thank you so much. Honestly, having you here, you're such like a great motivational speaker. I feel like I gotta like get up and get something done now. And your whole like dialogue was fantastic. Like we've never had somebody as well spoken as you, so like you were fantastic. And at least I learned a lot about sports photography and the world of media and getting yourself out there. So thank you so much, Evelyn Tang. And for all our viewers, all our listeners, we will see you guys when we come up with our next episode. Thank you. Bye.
Bye.